Lisa says, how do you balance your head, heart, and hormones? So the 3 H words, I know I talked about that in the opening event, the importance of balancing the head, heart, and hormones. And usually what takes over and overrides everything else is the hormones, the physical attraction, the chemistry. And many of us, myself included, have had that experience of, completely losing our minds over someone because of the chemistry. And it's so fun and it's so exciting and it's so, like almost addictive, right?
Yes.
And I can remember the man I think I was probably very most attracted to initially was this man. We were completely mismatched. But I'm telling you, boy, when he would kiss me or anything like that, I completely lost it. I was just, I could completely not even keep my mind, any logic or rationale about me. I'd completely lost my wits about me. So usually that's the one that overrides everything else. So if you have a pattern of those kinds of relationships where it's like, like a burning, raging forest fire in the beginning, and then you somewhere down the road find yourself lying there in the smoke, dust, and ashes wondering what in the world happened. The key is, if you want a different ending, you start at the beginning, right? So here's what I would recommend, because this is usually where the head gets overridden, the logic, the rationale, the common sense, and we think we're prematurely in love because of the physical attraction. We think we've got something deeper going than we've had time to develop. I always say that the one key piece is, if you have a pattern of those kind of relationships, it's okay, just recognize it and say, that hasn't worked so well for me so far. And if I want a different outcome, I have to change something in the beginning. So one of the keys to this is something we talked about already, is slowing down the pacing of the physical aspect of the relationship so that there is time to really get to know the heart and character qualities of this person, to determine compatibility, because chemistry does not necessarily equal compatibility. And to really get to know if this is someone that you really want to give your affection, your time, your attention, or a portion of your life to. Because what can happen is, if we let the chemistry stuff run away with it, then we can invest months, years into a relationship where we do end up feeling heartbroken, devastated, and really hurt. And women do bond with men through the physical, through sex. And so in a different way than men might bond. There are men out there, a lot of them, who can have sex and not develop that same emotional connection. And part of this is just our chemistry and our hormones and what happens. So particularly for a woman, it's important to manage the pacing. And I believe for the most part, a woman does manage the pacing. I mean, with the exception of things like rape, which that's a whole nother conversation. But in a normal, healthy relationship where there's attraction, a woman controls the pacing. And so part of this comes with you knowing your standards and what feels right for you and what timing feels good for you, and being able to even express that attraction by saying, wow, you know what, there's a part of me that would really be excited about doing something like that right now. What I know about myself, though, is that I need time to really get to know you in order to feel safe, in order to feel comfortable, in order to really enjoy it fully. And I would really like that to be a possibility. So it would be so much better for me if we got to know each other by spending more time together without getting physically involved right now. So you let him know you are attracted. You let him know that that might be something possible for the future and that you might be interested in it. And in the case of a man that is interested in having a real relationship with a woman, not just a one-night stand, he's going to be willing to wait. And again, you want to set yourself apart as that woman of high value with those high standards. It will make you stand out from those who are willing to compromise and do that sooner than they might feel comfortable.
Remember what I said.
Yeah,
can I just right?
One last thing I got to say before you jump in. I always say, approach a new relationship from a place of curiosity and observation. So you're curious about who this person is. You're curious about what the possibility might be, and you're observing the patterns and how this person is showing up over a period of time. Because how we really get to know someone is by observing and getting to know them over a period of time. As I mentioned in the opening event, I believe in attraction at first sight. Love at first sight is not something that is really possible because you don't really know the person. You might feel like you're in love if there's deep attraction, but you don't know them in a way that you can really, really love them. So I'll let you jump in now, PJ.
Forgive me, I didn't mean to.
No, you're fine.
So again, really quickly, if he's being, he wants to advance the relationship sexually, and even if those hormones are like, oh my God, I do too, but your mind knows your old pattern. Remember, men bond, even good men bond to the sex, they don't bond to you. Women during the sexual encounter bond to the relationship. So the longer you wait, the more likely he is to stay around because he'll bond to you emotionally. And then the intimacy, the physical intimacy becomes a bonus. So you can always say something like, I'm flattered, but as a lady, I like to wait, and leave it at that, right? So when you say I'm flattered, right, you can even touch his face or touch his chest, or right, you can say I'm flattered, but as a lady, I like to wait. And like, let's say you touch his chest, I'm flattered, and then you touch his face, as a lady, I like to wait a little bit longer. I want to know you better, right? And then he goes, oh, your standard just went so far up that my standards have to go up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so know your value and know your principles. Read that book and apply the principles that you create for yourself, and make sure that you are moving through those principles before you allow yourself to get too tied into the hormonal piece.
Yeah, very well said.